We're back with more Follow the Money on Sirius XM 204. Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard have the mics for the information you need to win.
Nice job by SuperBook USA. They've been all over the upcoming Major League Baseball season, going back now a good week. And last night, they released their upcoming Cy Young numbers along with the MVP odds in both leagues. Now, if you want to go back to last year, you want to go back 2 years ago. Remember on the air when this show first started, we were pointing out at the time Corey Kluber was coming back from the DL. He was 15-1 to win the Cy Young. And we were talking about that. Although Chris Sale's lead seemed to be like it was insurmountable.
Yeah.
Kluber came back and took it from him. And he won it. Yeah. He was available at 15-1. We talked about that all the time.
Now, you're the expert on this. You've crushed it here for a couple of years. You had both last year.
Last year was very good.
You are Mr. Future in Major League Baseball.
So I will do this a couple of different ways. I like to get a couple of bets in before the season starts. But because, we track this stuff every single day, I play fantasy baseball. It's easy to pay attention to guys that are having really good years and how it could continue for an entire year. Last year, for example, I got in on Edwin Diaz. That can happen, right? Where these teams can win one-run games for a full year. Will that continue into the next year? Probably not. But the Mariners were a great story. Got in on him at 500-1. I sold that on PropSwap to make a nice profit. He never won the award, but you can do that when you get these long odds. Javi Baez gave me a great run for his money. I got him in early May last year at 60-1. And I would say that up until maybe the final week or the final 2 weeks of the season, he was going to win the award.
He was.
Before Yelich and the Brewers they got red hot. They won the division, and Yelich was a machine.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, I did have Yelich 80-1 before the season started. And Mookie Betts at 15-1. That was in early April.
Why'd you bet Yelich? Why'd you bet that?
Because I thought he was awesome with the Marlins.
Uh-huh.
I thought change of scenery. I really liked the Brewers lineup a year ago. And I said 80-1. And by the way, I saw people that when we were doing this last year, they had him at 120, 150-1 last year.
They couldn't get him out the last month of the season.
Yep. I just thought maybe he has a career year, and he did.
All right.
Getting out of Florida. Because it happened with, so had those players last year and did very well. Very, very well. I'll give you some of the guys I like this year. I'm not going to go with the favorites. And again, I will bet these as the season gets underway, throw in other bets. But preseason, some of the guys that jumped off the page to me. Now, I want to say Alex Bregman for the Astros. I get it. He had the surgery, and you're going to have to see how he's going to actually perform in spring training. Maybe he looks great, and it's not going to bother him. Maybe he misses some time, and it won't be a great bet. But right now, 15-1. This team is $8 to win the division. Their win total is 96.5. They're 6-1 to win the World Series. A year ago, he hit 286, 31 home runs, 105 runs, and 103 RBIs.
They have three guys in the top. They got four guys in the top 10.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Springer's 30-1, Correa's 20, Altuve's 18, and Bregman's 12. Mm-hmm. Oh my God!
So he was 15 when he opened up. Again, I want to wait and see what's going to happen a little bit longer. I like him. Don't love him at this point, but he's one of the guys that kind of like, okay, that's good value because he's going to have awesome numbers on that team that will win 1 million games.
I read something interesting on Chris Bryant. So when he was out and struggling, I don't know why he would do this, but he did. He was on Twitter, and he was just looking at all the mentions and stuff, and you stink, and trade him, and get rid of him, and what have you done for me lately, and everything. And he says he's motivated. He's going to have a big year, and he's 12-1.
And he's won in the past, right?
Yeah.
He won a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
That's a good angle. I like it.
He's ready to come out and, I had a down year. Had some injuries. I'm going to bounce back and motivated by the haters, if you will.
A lot of people are making the case for Acuna from the Braves to win the MVP. I would say a little early for me to get on him to win this award. He opened up at 25-1. That's what he's sitting at right now at the Westgate. I'll give you his teammate. Guy that I like, he was also in the mix last year. He was in the top 5, and some people were making the case that he was going to win it like in August, in early September. It's Freddie Freeman. He is 18-1. They are 3-1 to win the division. 86 wins is their season-long win total. 20-1 to win the World Series. Last year, he hit 309 with 23 home runs. 94 runs, scored 98 RBIs. And I just think in this offense, another year now with Acuna and Albies, and they added Josh Donaldson to play third base. They have potentially a killer lineup, and he is going to be in the mix, and he is a dynamite hitter. I think his numbers will be outstanding, and this team has a chance to win a lot of games and maybe that division again this year. 2 Cy Young guys. I will go with another Houston Astro. I'll say 15-1 on Garrett Cole. He was 15-5 a year ago. Remember the move here from the National League to the American League. Some people will always tell you that, well, come on, DH man, numbers are going to go down. He got better. And the reason why, I heard this recently, is because the pitching staff, the coaches in Houston, much more progressive with their thinking. And they actually unleashed Garrett Cole a year ago, and Pittsburgh was holding him back, actually. And Cole is 15-1. He was 15-5 with a 2.88. In 200 innings, he struck out 276 guys with a 103 whip. I think 15-1 is pretty good. And in the National League, quite honestly, I don't love anybody with, outstanding odds at this point.
You know, it was great after the trade was Cole Hamels. He had some great numbers there.
Yeah, he was.
I saw the same. Rich Hill's got the same odds. Guy goes 5 innings every start.
I did see that Yu Darvish, by the way, side note, was throwing 96 miles an hour the other day, but he was walking the ballpark. I will go Aaron Nola National League, but I might wait a honey. 7-1 is the number on Nola. Love his stuff. He is phenomenal. That team still has a chance, obviously, to sign Bryce Harper. If they do, even if they don't, this team's going to be really good. They can contend in that division. He was 17-6 a year ago with a 2.37 ERA. In 212 innings, he had a .97 whip, 224 Ks, and they are down at 12-1 to win the World Series. I love Nola. I'm going to be all over him in fantasy this year. I think he's fantastic.
Now, I guess the Dodgers are already going to monitor Buehler and try to cut back on his pitch count.
You're right.
So he's 20-1. Be careful there.
Love his stuff, though.
Corbin 20-1 with the Nats. He was filthy last year.
Yep.
He had a great season. Hendricks took a step back after he was awesome a couple years ago. He's 50-1. Not much there. Sonny Gray, 100-1.
Yeah, get him off the list.
That's funny. Look at some of these. Sonny Gray on the Reds.
Mm-hmm.
Wood on the Reds. Puig's listed at MVP. The Reds. Puig's 40-1.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people think he's going to have a gigantic year now.
How about Seager 40-1, coming back with the Dodgers in that lineup?
I like him a lot, but are you concerned about the injury from last year? I think consistently that guy's going to hit around 300, around 25 home runs, and be close to 100 RBIs and 100 runs every single year, as long as he's healthy.
Hader's 300-1.
I actually thought he should have been in the conversation last year with what he meant. How many times they went to him in leverage spots?
Sure.
Love that guy. So again, as of right now, Bregman 15-1, AL MVP, Freeman 18-1, NL MVP, and Cy Young's Garrett Cole in the AL at 15-1, and Aaron Nola in the NL at 7-1. Up next here, this is Follow the Money on Sirius XM 204. You can watch the show on fuboTV. Craig Mish is going to join the show from the Sirius XM Fantasy Channel. Who does he like this year to win the Cy Young and MVPs? We will ask him coming up next.
More of Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard is on the way.